All right. All right. Let's get back into this conversation. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna get back into this conversation, how politics is directly tied into the stock market, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. I believe that you guys need to understand why one day your portfolio, one day your stocks, one day your 403b, one day your IRA, one day your ETFs, one day your stocks and bonds absolutely shoot up 30-40%, and then the next day they shoot down. Are you closely watching politics? That's the question that I have for you guys. Are you closely watching politics? You may not like politics, but politics is directly tied to the stock market. Whether you like it or not, politics is directly tied to the stock market. And this is what we need to understand. Because the reason why the stock market is performing horribly today is because Joe Biden is coming out with a $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan. You're asking, am I against it? I am not against it. But the market is telling everyone, not only is inflation going to go up, but taxes are going to go up. Because guess what? You have to pay back the loan that the government is giving us. All of these stimulus checks we're getting, I mean, it's not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot of money. But when the government starts to fork out, to over 150 million Americans, 200 million Americans, $1,200 here, $2,400 here, $3,000 there, and then give everybody $600. Now they're coming out and saying Joe Biden is giving everybody $2,000. Now, I thought about this for a very long time. Why didn't the Democrats support $2,000 under Donald Trump? Anyone see a political play here? Or is it just me? Is this political play with the American people? Because here's the thing. Already, it looks like they're trying to secure another 4 years. Already, they're trying to win the next term. They're like, Joe Biden is a president that gave the American people $2,000. They gave the American people $2,000. So you should vote for him again. Again, the American people are being pandered to. No matter your color, you're being pandered to. Because we know that the Democrats, they always cater to the poor, to the working class, in order for them to obtain their level of authority. And then essentially the Republicans, they pander to who? Business owners and rich people. So if you're middle class, you're kind of like in the middle. You don't know which way to go, but the only thing that you need to know is that politics and politicians are directly tied into your money. That's why under Donald Trump, your 401ks and IRAs went up tremendously. Regardless if you voted for him or not, regardless if you like the man or not, regardless if you believe he's a bigot or a racist, I believe all those things too. But that's not the point. The point when it comes to your money is that he gave a lot of businesses tax incentives. Okay? He gave a lot of businesses business deductions and perks. So with that being said, the stock market was performing better than it ever has in history. Okay? And what they mean by that is now the stock market over the course of time have always been on an upward trajectory. It always has been going up, up, and up. But they're just saying based on the historical data of how the stock market actually performs, that it's been doubling and tripling faster than its historical records. So that's imperative to understand that politics are directly tied to the stock market. If you notice that, because that's why Donald Trump, he was one of the first presidents to come out and say, I'm the one who's making the stock market go up. Then I heard some people was like, well, Barack Obama did a lot of things too. But he did, but he didn't do anything that was directly tied to the stock market. See, with this conversation right here, I don't like for people to get too emotional, because when you combine politics and money, people automatically think, oh, you're a Trump supporter. No, I'm a money supporter. And I didn't vote for Trump, and I wouldn't ever vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden either. I can care less. I told people on the previous video, I'm non-political. Because when you start getting tied up into these political games and they're doing nothing for your people, they're doing nothing for black people, they just pander to you and they believe that's good enough. Did you know that Obama was against qualified immunity as well? For you guys who don't know, let me define qualified immunity really quickly. Qualified immunity in the United States, okay, is a legal principle that grants government officials performing discretionary functions immunity from civil suits unless the plaintiff shows the official violated clearly established statutory or constitutional rights which a reasonable person would have known. That is what that means. That means they get out like a scapegoat. But let me help you out. This is not what the police in America does to black people. It's not qualified immunity why they get off. Let me just keep this clear. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I'm going to tell you what it's actually called. Now, as I told people before, and this is not to belittle anyone, this is what you call qualified impunity, not immunity, okay, because they get off. Qualified impunity when you kill unarmed black men and women and children in the street with no weapon, sometimes only a cell phone, but most likely nothing else. You don't have qualified immunity. You have qualified impunity. And the definition of impunity means exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. Can I read that one more time? The police in America, the government officials in America, regardless if it's with a pen or with a gun, marginalize black people so you never perform well. And this is why all of these things are occurring to keep a system of white supremacy under black people, over black people, because qualified impunity means exemption from punishment or freedom from injurious consequences of an action. That means that you can go out and do whatever the hell you want. And they say, hey, next time, turn off your body camera. Next time, turn off your body camera. Okay? So that's what we need to understand. So when these politicians create all of these bills, when these politicians make all of these policies, this directly affects your bottom line. Because when you think about racism and living in a country of oppression for black people like United States of America, investments in creating your own business is the only way we're going to get ourselves out. Because like I said, I may never vote again if they don't start giving people reparations, empowerment, tangibles, resources, opportunities, business credits. We deserve all of that. The contract with Black America can say it better than I ever could say when Ice Cube actually created that contract with Black America. He can say it better than I ever can make up something. So I agree with that contract. There are some things I disagree with, but for the most part, that's a great start. That's a great start. And so the reason why this hits home for me, because this is the one way that we as black people, B1, can actually start making real good money off of our $35,000 a year, off of our $45,000 a year. Okay? Because when you look at the statistics, only 8% of black men, make over six figures. 8%. Now, granted, it's only 40 million of black people, period, but only 8% of black men make over $100,000 a year. That's not a lot. That's not a lot of people. Then let's break it down even further. Only 18% of black men make over $65,000 a year. Where they do that at? Only 18%. I can sit here, compare and contrast, and tell you that over 45 to 50 white men make more than 65,000. That over 30%, over 40% of white men make over $100,000. But you already know that. But only 8% of black men in America make over six figures, and only 18% of black men make over $65,000 in America. So this is why it's important that you at least understand politics in a matter of how it affects your money in the stock market. And this is why I go ham on politicians, because of the stock market, because it directly affects your money. Right now, let me, I can only show the people on Instagram this, but my portfolio is now down $2,000 because of this new news that Joe Biden is coming out with another COVID relief plan that's worth $1.9 trillion. Wait a minute, what's the deficit of America? Is it $27 trillion? We're in bed to billions, if not trillions of dollars to China. Then the question you may have, again, I'm going to answer it again. Do you support the third stimulus payment? I do, because we need the money. But what's going to happen, there's always what? A cause and effect, an action and a reaction. So what's going to occur is we're getting these 3 stimulus checks. I mean, some people didn't even get the second one yet. Some people still didn't even get the first, but we're getting the third. We're getting the third stimulus check, and supposedly this stimulus check is going to be $2,000. Now, again, this is what I call political play, political ploy, where they stop the previous administration from giving the American people $2,000, which the American people, which black people needed the $2,000. Because the reason why I love my people is because here, we're on the bottom. We're on the bottom. We're the most unemployed. We're the most strictest with illnesses. We're the mostly discriminated upon. We're the most marginalized and disfranchised. So this means so much to us. So 2 months of COVID-19, you give the American people $1,200 if single, $2,400 if married, and then $500 up to 3 dependents. Okay, so you can make pretty good money. You're about what, 35, almost $5,000. Okay. Okay, let's see, 35, about $4,000 if you got the 3 dependents. Then how many months go past? So you got paid that first stimulus check. We found out about the coronavirus in late January, February. You stopped paying people in March. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8 to 9 months go past, and you give them $600, even though that administration, whether you like Donald Trump or not, he said, he came out publicly like, I want $2,000 for the American people. You just went 8 months without money. Okay, you just went 8 months without money. But the Democrats stopped that. They're like, no, we're not doing that. But now they impeached them, okay, for the second time, the first in history. They impeached Donald Trump the second time, but he's still going to carry out till the 20th. I approve of it. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I approve of it. But I'm not a Joe Biden supporter. Because here's the political play with American people. A lot of people die. Not only from, and here's the thing, don't let them pander you with COVID-19. Only 18% of black people die from COVID-19 so far. It's been heavily affecting the Caucasian community. Okay, it's been heavily affecting the Caucasian community more than the black community, even though we're living next to each other in hoods, projects, in the slums. But nonetheless, right after this insurrection of the white supremacist group that support Donald Trump on January 6th, now Joe Biden's come out with a 1.9 trillion COVID relief plan that's going to give American people $2,000. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you guys already trying to secure a second term? Is Joe Biden going to last that long? Yeah, man, you know, I voted for Joe Biden because that damn Donald Trump, man, he a racist. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that Joe Biden was not the senator who explicitly wrote mass incarceration? Oh, I'm sorry, the 1994 crime bill, and was a part of the 3-strike rule, where black people in the hood were getting ticketed and incarcerated for jaywalking, for smoking weed, that our neighborhoods are overly policed? You mean to tell me that Kamala Harris wasn't part of locking up mothers and fathers for truancy laws, and they majority primarily affected black communities? I mean, so when people try to pander to me, well, you know, we had to get our racists out of office. So you replace one racist with another one. So even though one hurt 100,000, more than 100,000 black men and women with their pen, you mean to tell me that you were about the one who talks it, but he didn't back it up? See, when I was in the military, they used to always say this one thing: the pen is mightier than the sword. Does anybody know what that means? They said, I can hurt your career with this pen. I don't have to put my hands on you. You can hoop, holler, try to hit your superior officer, try to hit your superior NCO, but I can hurt your career with this pen. I can recommend Article 15. That's, you know, Article 15, non-punitive action under UCMJ. Like, I can hurt your entire career with this pen. I can get you separated dishonorably with this pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. And that is what Joe Biden did to mass incarcerate more than 100,000 black people. And that is what Kamala Harris did in California with the truancy law. So, two bigots, two races on both sides, but we like this one better, boss. We like Massa over here a little better. But this is the issue, not understanding politics when it comes to your money. Because politics is directly tied to the stock market. So before Dr. King came on the scene, did you guys know that majority of black people were Republicans? I've never been a Republican, okay? Never been a Republican. I know I've been an independent. I don't know if I've ever been a Democrat. I don't know if the first time I told somebody, they said, what's my political party? This was like 10 years ago. I said, I'm an independent. Because I was like, I can't choose a side. I always feel like independents are right in the middle. But then I'm nothing. I'm nothing. I'm just a black man with a vote. Because I held my vote. I still got my vote. They're like, it's over, though. The race is over. I'm still here at the racetrack. I'm waiting for it to come around again. But before Dr. King, majority of black people were Republicans. And the reason for that is black people, again, with the veil over their eyes, said Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. And Republicans, quote unquote, freed African Americans from slavery. So a lot of African Americans automatically became Republicans. They're like, this is the party that freed our people from slavery. So you have most Republicans in the North, and guess who was in the South? Democrats. Because some people like to believe, based upon your political party, that Democrats are not as equally as racist as Republicans. But some people are stupid enough and unintelligent enough to believe that every single Republican that's white is a racist. Wait a minute. When I looked at the insurrection on the Capitol on January 6th, I saw black people too. Now, granted, it wasn't that many. And then secondly, most of these black people was not from America. They was from Caribbean and it was from Africa. We talked about this. You got those anchor babies and those tethers that's in support of white supremacy. And guess what? I pointed out on one of my other live broadcasts, there were a lot of Hispanics. There were a lot of white Hispanics, and they even had some brown Hispanics. Am I saying that all black people from the Caribbean and Africa are racist and support of white supremacy? No. Am I saying all white Hispanics and brown Hispanics are racist? No. Okay, I just got to say it because some people are, well, you do all this, brown. You know, people just love to take everything out of context. That's what they do. That's what people do. That's what people do. And I understand this. I said this on one of my Facebook groups today. Someone say, hey, man, you criticize this, you criticize that, da, 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 da. I said, anytime you put information, whether it be a video, a statement, or a picture on the internet, it causes for criticism. That's it. People want to criticize this video. That is the world we live in. Everything is to be criticized. The way you look, what you eat, how you do squats, how you run. Everyone is criticizing everyone, so everybody just need to get over it. But this is the truth when it comes to how politics are tied into the stock market, how politics are tied into your retirement plan. Because, ladies and gentlemen, can I just remember it was around June, July, August, even with COVID-19 at an all-time high, once some of you guys' retirement plans still doing good, like the stock market was still performing well. They had some down days, some down weeks, but primarily it was doing well. I want you guys to take an account of how your IRAs and your 401ks and your stock portfolios under the last 4 years and how it's going to perform in these 4 years. And the reason why I'm saying that, because this has nothing to do about the men that are in office. It's about the political party who won the administration. Because most times than not, the reason why the stock market does better under Republicans is because they give businesses all sorts of incentives and tax deductions, which have big businesses doing better business, doing more business, which actually increases your bottom line when it comes to your retirement. When Democrats get in office, taxes usually go up. When Democrats get in office, inflation usually rises. That's bad for business. Inflation is bad for business because here's the thing. You as a client of a service, you as a consumer going out to buy a product, when taxes rise, we are less likely to buy certain items. You're like, hold up. So if I buy a TV for $1,200, it's an extra $150 because of taxes? Nah, I'm good. I'm going to buy mine off of eBay. I'm going to buy mine used. I'm going to buy mine off of Amazon warehouse. You're not going to buy too many new things. You see how it works into the economics of things? They want you to buy new stuff. They want you to buy new products. They want you to buy new items. So when a president like Joe Biden, okay, regardless of the name, don't tie it to the name, just a political party who's a Democrat, taxes and inflation rises, which causes clients and consumers like ourselves to stop buying and stop acquiring certain services. So that hurts the stock market because the amount of business and transactions decrease over the course of time. Let's see here on Instagram. He said Dems and Republicans switch their policies all the time. We got Chara. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna call you Raw. Raw on Instagram says Biden looks scary to me. That's because he is scary. See, here's the thing. We would like to label Donald Trump. I mean, I won't say label. We would like to call him out for what he is, a bigot and a racist. and in greatly support of white supremacy. I agree. But we're scared to call Joe Biden what he really is. See, Rob on Instagram said he's scary. Well, that's the face of a guy who mass incarcerated over 100,000 black people and solely targeted black neighborhoods. That's why he looks scary. He looks scary to me too. Because we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen. Good morning, Jermaine Anderson. Good morning, Charles Green. Good morning, Mr. Wins. He said, what do you think about Biden's $15 minimum wage plan? Shamar says, reason why I don't believe in the media and vote. Jamar also says independent is the way to go. All right, well, let me address these in order for everybody. Ross says, all I want to do is stock as much money as I can for my family. I agree. You should be buying gold and silver, sister, as well. Gold and silver. Because money in America is paper. People are like, but yeah, it's a certain currency. No, it's not. The dollar bill is not currency. It's paper. It's a note. Look what a note is tender. It's not money. See, I'm going to answer you guys' questions. Don't get me wrong, ladies, but let me break this down to you guys. When you look at a dollar bill, a $50 bill, whatever you have, it says note. It don't say currency, don't say money, don't say none of that. Because money, paper money needs to be backed by a currency, which is gold and silver, platinum and palladium and copper and iridium, is backed by a natural organic substance like metals. Gold is a metal. But when you think gold, you think money, right? So paper money is a note. It's tender. Remember people back in the day used to do a promissory note? That's all money really is. And we use it to exchange that this money is backed by the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Mint, the U.S. Department of Treasury. We think that it's backed by something. But in 1971, Nixon changed the whole system in America and around the world. Nixon was a beast. Believe it or not. He did this one thing. He changed the way we operated when it came to business and money and loans. He said, change the system from our money being backed by gold to our money being backed by debt. And he directly created the fiat system. I'm not talking about the car, okay? But it's spelled the same way, F-I-A-T. Look it up. Look up the fiat system. So now that I have you guys here, I'm still going to address you guys' question. Let me give you the book definition of fiat system so we can understand what money is. Because you guys, again, should be buying silver and gold. I know my brother, he doesn't really deal in gold, but he deals in silver because he can buy it at a lower price point. But let me give you the quick definition. I'm addressing some of your questions. A fiat system is based on a government's mandate that the paper currency it prints is legal tender for making financial transactions. Legal tender means that the money is backed by the full faith and credit of the government that is issued. Your money is backed by faith and not by sight. Your money is backed by faith and not by sight. So the U.S. government fails. Let me read it one more time, and I'm going to tell you what that means in layman terms. A fiat system is based on a government's mandate that the paper currency it prints is legal tender for making financial transactions. Legal tender means that the money is backed by the full faith and credit of the government that it issues. So in other words, the government promises to be good for it. So with that being said, if the U.S. economy falls, all the paper money that you have accumulated means nothing to the rest of the world. But I promise you, boo-boo, I promise you, if you have gold and silver, you can operate in any country in the world when you have gold and silver. Because gold and silver is still valuable, precious metals, especially if you have diamonds. Not to be affiliated with blood diamonds. But if you have gold, silver, diamonds, you will be able to eat, build a house, start a business with that real money. Paper tender is not real money because in America and a lot of the Western countries, it is backed by a promise. It is backed by faith. It is not backed by any precious metal like countries in Africa. So with that being said, hopefully I explained that you guys should be buying silver and gold. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. Let's see here. Let me go back to who he says, what do you think about Biden's 15 minimum wage plan? I don't think it should be nationwide. A state like Washington State, yes, it needs to be a $15 minimum wage plan. It needs to be a $15 minimum wage. DC should be a $15 minimum wage. Like Boston, New York City, some of them should be higher. It should be based upon your standard of living. Okay? Because a lot of people cannot survive when it comes to a certain minimum wage. Now, granted, a lot of these wages in America, all of them should be risen because a lot of people are like, man, I get paid $15 and I got an associate degree. I get paid $15 and I have this certification. I get paid $15 and I have this license. I get it. But a lot of these states like Washington State, because I just came from there, in some areas, they're only making $10, but the economy, okay, where you can actually live, you need more than one person living with you in order to survive. I mean, some of the rents in Washington, even in Tacoma area, are $1,200. And you factor in $1,200. The bus system is not as great as it is in Seattle. So if you're in Tacoma, you're like, well, how am I get to work? You need a car, okay? And everybody is not privileged enough. Everybody is not, lucky enough in order to get an education, to get a better job, in order to get money to go to trade school or to get a certification or get a license to make more money. Some people just graduated high school, but they're trying to make a living. So I believe depending on the economy of that state, it should dictate what is the cost of living. Like how much does a 1-bedroom apartment cost or a 2-bedroom apartment cost? How much is food if you shop at Kroger, Food Line, Safeway, Giant, etc.? How much are the basic utilities? And I think that the minimum wage, the minimum wage should fit that city's, not that state. Not that state, because that's when we start getting things mixed up. Okay, because in Texas, if you live in Highland Park, only millionaires live in Highland Park. I can't afford to live in Highland Park. I mean, I only know two of my friends can afford to live in Highland Park, but they will never move to Highland Park because they'll be at the low end of Highland Park, but they're still millionaires. Okay. I'm a thousandaire because I got 2,000 in the bank. If you guys got 1,000 in the bank, raise your hand. If you got more than 1,000 in the bank, put your black fist up, B1, because you're a thousandaire. Don't let nobody fool you. I know it's silly, but everybody talking about millionaires and billionaires. Shoot, I'm a thousandaire. Whatever if I only had hundreds, I'm 100-aire. I don't care. I got pride of my little money. But here's the thing: the minimum wage should fit that city's cost of living standard. Okay, that's the answer to your question, Wins. Let's see here. Jamal says independent is the way to go. I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I disagree, why you shouldn't be a RID. You shouldn't be part of RID. I get rid of all of them. Get rid of all of them. RID, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Throw out all the political parties if you're black. They don't do nothing for us. The only thing they do is pander to us. That's all they do. Black people, we're going to wear Timberland boots. Black people, I'm going to listen to Tupac. If you ain't black, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Black people are not diverse. See, I feel like black people were so docile. Somebody can spit in our face and we'll go like this. Oh man, thanks. I was thirsty. Think about that. Someone can spit in the faces of black people and we'll wipe away the spit and slurp it up and say that we're thirsty. We want more. See, I look at tall tale signs. Very easy, right in your face, blatant signs. Let me tell you, there's some things about why you shouldn't even vote Democrat. Because we know why we shouldn't vote Republican. Because majority of black people don't make enough money to vote Republican. Well, a lot of us, we should be owning businesses. We should be creating businesses. But we know that Republicans mostly tailor and pander to businesses. Okay? We understand that majority of black people, our high numbers are from the working class to the working poor. Even though we have a good percentage of people in the middle class, majority of our numbers, 65, 60% of African Americans are from the working class to the working poor. So Democrats pander to us. So let's talk about Democrats. Let's talk about the two candidates. When we talk about you want to be an independent, like who's, I mean, independent, I used to be an independent. And independent just means that I'm just going to choose a Republican or Democrat at the end of the day because independents will never win anything. Okay? But let's talk about it. Democrats. Kamala Harris said, if you ask me, am I only going to do things for black people? Then the answer is no. I'm not going to do anything just for black people. Whatever I do is going to help the American people. Then we need to go back to, well, you made a policy directly affected black people when you created a truancy law where the only people we saw getting incarcerated was black mothers and black fathers. I digress. But then you say you listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, then you wear Chuck Taylors, then you wear Timberlands, and then you come out and talk about Kwanzaa. What? Yeah, your family celebrate Kwanzaa. What? Kwanzaa? Your father is from Jamaica, your mother's from India, and you can remember talking about emoji. You can talk about this is how politicians pander to black people. We fall for it every time. They spit in your face. Here's the thing. Before Kamala Harris was running for president, did anybody ever hear about a politician wearing Chuck Taylors to work? Exactly. It would have been news. That's my point. Would anybody hear about wearing Timberlands? Wouldn't you would have found out before that she listened to Tupac, but didn't know any of Tupac's songs? You see what I'm getting? But no. She went to an HBCU. Okay. A lot of tethers and anchor babies and people from the Caribbean and come here, they go to HBCUs. But who are HBCUs funded by? White politicians. Look it up. I'm not making it up. I'm just saying. Then Joe Biden gets on the scene, the guy who most incarcerated black people than any other president in America. He says right in your face, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. It's like someone spit in your face, and you just wipe it and sip it up and just go vote for the guy. He disrespected all black people when he said that. That is the biggest white supremacist statement in the world. If you don't vote for me, then you're not your skin color. And this is a white man. See, I would have took it better if it was a black dude up there. I would have taken it better if it was, I don't know, Khalid Muhammad or Louis Farrakhan or Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I don't know. Hey man, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, because I'm heavily in support of black people. I'm a black man myself. A white man told black people, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He said, look here, nigga, you're a slave. And if you don't vote for me, I'm going to spank you. That's what he said. I'm just calling how it is, man. Yeah, it's Friday. I'm on one today because this is how everything is closely related to your money. Some of you may not believe that this topic is still at hand. I still got that politics is related to your money. How do you keep white people rich? How do you keep white and Asians rich? You heavily oppress one group. See, when you have two incomes in a house, when you have a mother, father in the house, and that mother and father are nurturing their young kids, their young children, that child has a better chance at making it in the world than with one parent. Because you have two incomes. Take, for instance, our son. He goes to a coding class called iCode. He's also in a basketball league. He's also in a football league. Because with two incomes, you can do twice as much that you could before. So that's what we need to understand. So politics is directly in correlation with money. And this is why under certain administrations and certain political parties, your 401k, your stock portfolios, your IRAs go up and go down. Regardless if you agree with one politician or another, mostly under Republicans, your stock portfolios goes up because businesses do better because of tax deductions, fair trade, fair market, all this other stuff that they use, right? But Democrats come in and they say, well, the Republicans messed up the presidency. The Republicans messed up the economy. And none of us really stop to think that, wait a minute, but my 401k went up. Like, no, those Republicans, they're bad people. All of them are racist. Then they get in the office and your 401k does bad. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not supportive of anybody. I'm black first. But this is how you keep certain people rich. When you oppress one group of people and you make them a non-qualifier. See, you make them a non-qualifier because you're not only hurting them, you're hurting their children too. Because when you got two parents in a household with two incomes, you can possibly support that kid to go get a degree. You can possibly support that child to go get a trade, to go get a license. But when you have one income and you're not educated or skilled or licensed or certified yourself, then you're a secretary at an office building. You're the assistant manager at McDonald's. So you just have enough money to feed your family and may put them in a little club that costs $20 a month. And thank God you have internet. You see this is how they marginalize, disenfranchise us. So we are systematically oppressed so we can't move or do anything. But some of us are blind because politicians pander to us. And when I mean by politicians, I am not just talking about white politicians. I'm talking about black politicians like Jim Clyburn. He panders to black people like Al Sharpton. They keep black people docile so you don't rise up, so you don't fight for what is right. You don't fight for what is yours. You stop talking about reparations and you start talking about, well, all of America needs help. Well, who needs help the most? We need to be unified in the way we think. We need to be unified in the way we march forward. Stop having politicians, black, white, or indifferent, pander to you about what you need and what you don't need. You say, nah, I need this. I need reparations. I need resources. I need access to credit. I need access to grants. And don't let them pander to you with one thing. Well, we gave you affordable health care. Who did that mainly affect? White people. White people are 70% of the population. And then when you include white Hispanics and Arabic people, because understand this, Arabic people in America are considered white, that raised their population up to 76%. Then you have Hispanics at the second one. They're around 16 to 18%. African Americans foundational Black Americans are only 13.4% of the population. And this is how they divide your resources and opportunities and your empowerment. This is how they divide it. They say minorities, people who are living in urban communities, people of color. Wait a minute, hold up. People of color are white people too. Is white not a color? So when they talk about people of color, we're going to do this for people of color. White people are included in people of color as well. White people are included in people of color as well. White, people of color just don't include Hispanics and Blacks. It includes Asians because 10 years ago, it was black, white, and yellow and brown, but now it's black, white, Hispanic, and Asian. So there's only 2 colors in America, but it was 4 colors in America. I thought we had a color caste system in America. Now it went away, but now we're giving Asians respect. Asians got respect in America because they're like, we're not yellow, we're Asian. But as soon as Black people say we're African American, we're not Black. No, you're Black. We're white. You're Black. Oh, okay. Are we thinking about these things? These are the things that we actually need to put into perspective. These are the things that we need to put into perspective because this conversation needs to be had. Because we don't think about these things. We think because there's Black politicians in the cabinet of the United States Senate, there's Black politicians in the presidential cabinet, that racism or that particular party is not racist. No, this is how you pander to a people to keep them oppressed. They're doing the same thing that slave masters did. They allowed slaves in the house to like, oh, those white people must not be that bad. They got the niggas in the house. But then somebody said, well, they only got the light-skinned niggas in the house. Well, they're the best ones. So we're thinking that the best Black people, think about it. I want you guys to make a correlation here. The best niggas on the plantation were in the house because they were lighter and closely related to the skin color of the master. So we'll correlate that the niggas they got in the cabinet, in the presidential administration, and the politician, they're the best of us. But all the while, if you read what they put on Twitter, they're right in front of your face. They don't support. Barack Obama does not support qualified immunity, or as I said, qualified impunity. He does not support it. And matter of fact, if you guys do your research, and I know everybody loves Obama. Yeah, I love the guy too. But he was a horrible president for Black people. He signed the Blue Shield law. This is how you keep white and Asians rich. And this is how you keep Black people poor. Mass incarceration, voter suppression. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get this voter suppression thing out the way. Voter suppression, voter oppression, voter coercion, voter manipulation, voter disenfranchisement occurs in the Republican Party and also the Democratic Party. I want you guys, if you're interested and you don't take my word for it, go back to the 80s and look at which political party won, and then look at the lawful convictions of people who was in support of the political party who won, but who got incarcerated because of voter suppression or oppression or manipulation. This is how they do, ladies and gentlemen. See, it's a bigger picture than what you see. See, what mass media puts on TV and panders to us to fearmonger Black people to vote for Democrats, it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy for you to vote for Democrat over and over and over again. But since the 1960s, what difference voting for Democrat has occurred for black people. I mean, our two leaders got assassinated, Malcolm X in the 60s, as well as Martin Luther King in the 60s. Well, you know, the Nation of Islam, they assassinated Martin Luther King. Don't believe that, family. Don't believe that. See, here's the thing. White people can tell black people anything, we'll believe it. I was listening to a guy yesterday in the cigar shop, and he was telling me how the Greeks and Romans discovered mathematics. And I whipped my head, and the owner of the shop knows how I am. White guy, retired Marine. And he looked at me, and he knows me. I'm outspoken. I said, excuse me? It wasn't even my conversation. You know, sometimes you just need to shut up and be quiet, but not me. No. I said, excuse me? I said, first and foremost, Africans discovered, melanated people discovered mathematics, the first language, writing. Conversation went on, but yeah, I mean, my whole thing is to inform people, and then you can do your own research. But if you're not understanding how this country, and I say that with a large grain of salt, because I do not believe that America is a country. If anybody ever heard me before, I believe that America is a corporation, because we need to understand that we pay money to the Vatican City every year. We give Vatican cities hundreds of millions of dollars every year because of birth certificates and social security cards. In other countries, when you buy land, politics, we're still on how politics is closely related to stock market, how politics is closely related to money. I'm just giving you guys some insight. Why is it in America, when you buy a home and you paid off that home, you have to pay property tax? And I know a lot of you who work for the state, work for the federal government, you're going to say that is to pay for the schools, the fire department, the police department, etc. Okay, but why is it's a property tax? Why is it if you don't pay your property tax, they take your home? If you own your own home in America and you don't pay property tax, they take your house. How's that related to the schools, fire department, policemen, utility districts? Like, how does that compute to me? But you can go to Africa, hint, hint, giving you guys some good information. Go visit where you come from. You don't have to live there. Just go visit, though. You never know. Once you buy the land, you own the land. You own the land. You own the land. You don't pay property tax. Here's another thing. For you guys who live in states with state tax and local tax. I remember in Maryland, I was living in Suitland, and I paid federal tax, state tax, and local tax. What was local tax for? Oh, local taxes keep up the streets, you know, okay. So why is it's property tax and they take your house? Why can't you pay a local tax that pays for this, that, and the other? And if you don't pay it, you get unlisted. So if your house catches on fire, the fire department won't come. You're unlisted because you don't pay taxes for that service. It's like insurance, right? Think about it. I thought about it for a very long time. Just think about it. Stay with me. Think about this. If you don't have car insurance and you crash your car, you're coming out of pocket, right? Because you don't have insurance. You're coming out of pocket. Take, for instance, you own the car, because if you have a lien on the car, then you have to pay it. You have to pay insurance. It's illegal because somebody else owns the deed of the car or the lease of the car. Say you own the car and you don't have any insurance. Okay. You have any insurance. If you crash that car, if you damage that car, you come out of pocket to pay for it. But if you had insurance, the insurance with a small deductible will pay for it, right? Same thing with your house. If you pay local tax or local, whatever they may want to call it, if you had an infraction at your house, the police will come out. If there's a fire, the fire department come out. You get what I'm trying to say? So why is it if you don't pay property tax, which is supposed to pay for the school system, all these other systems and services that you have, then why is it they take your house? This is all about money. This is all about money. You own your house, but you do not own the land that your house is on. Because if you did, if you stop paying property tax, they wouldn't take it, but they will in America. And continents like Africa, you can go buy the land and don't pay property tax. This is why you need to understand that you live in a corporation and not a country. Because in any corporation, take for instance an office building. You ever see those business office buildings like report to Suite 118, where they have all these different offices in the office building? That is what your house is. Because you're renting out an office room, and when you stop paying the rent, when your lease is up and you stop paying the lease and you don't extend the lease, that office is no longer yours. I'm just telling you the truth, man. You don't got to take my word for it. Like the whole Vatican story. Oh, that's conspiracy theory. But let me tell you something else. Did you know that Microsoft, Oracle, they're coming out with a system? Listen to this. This has to deal with your money, believe it or not, and your health. They're coming out with a system. I'm trying to get the story up so I speak directly to it. Microsoft and Oracle are coming out with a system of international vaccine passport. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Here we go right here. Let me read this to you guys. Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce join effort to develop COVID-19 vaccine digital passport. I'm going to read it again. Microsoft. Who's ahead of Microsoft? Wait a minute, no, let me back up. Who was ahead of Microsoft, also closely related to depopulating the earth, mainly in Africa? Was it Bill Gates? Never mind. Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce joined effort to develop COVID-19 vaccination digital passport. Okay. Microsoft, Oracle, and Salesforce have joined a broad coalition of technology and healthcare companies to create the vaccination credential initiative, which aims to accelerate access to COVID-19 vaccinations records by creating a digital passport. The technology will allow individuals to obtain a copy of their shot records through a digital wallet of their choice, such as Apple Wallet or Google Pay, while those without smartphones would receive paper printed with QR codes containing verifiable credentials. In addition, the VCI, the vaccination, will also try to develop new standards to help determine whether a person has or hasn't been inoculated, been given the vaccine against the virus. A vaccination digital passport. So let me tell you guys the truth as I know it. So these companies, we understand that Oracle is the second largest largest tech company in the world, Microsoft and Salesforce. They're making a vaccination digital passport. You know what they didn't say? See, sometimes the truth is in what they didn't say. They didn't say we're making a digital passport of COVID-19 tests and vaccines. What does a passport does? I'm going to give you the book definition. I love book definitions. I'm just going to look up passport. Passport. Let me look up the definition of passport. Let me just look this up. Let's see what the book answer is. Passport, an official document issued by a government certifying the holder's identity and citizenship and entitling them, listen, and entitling them to travel under its protection of foreign countries. Passport, travel, vaccination. You put it together, you got it. You're going to need a vaccine to travel. And it's going to be on your phone that you took the vaccine. So what does that equate to? We're going full circle. What I tell you, all got to do with money. Pfizer and Moderna are the two companies in America that develop a vaccine. So in order for people to travel, and America is the most traveled country, look it up. It's America, then China. We travel the most. Vacation and business, America and China, we travel the most. So in America, in order for you to travel, you're going to need a digital or a paper copy of the vaccination that you took in order to travel. It's a passport. You can't pass this port unless you took this vaccine. I wonder Pfizer and Moderna, who gets kickbacks if most Americans take the vaccine? Who gets kickbacks from Pfizer and Moderna if most of Americans take the vaccine? Why is Microsoft, Oracle, and Salesforce making a digital vaccine passport? Well, who makes the vaccines? Moderna and Pfizer. Are the vaccines free? Well, some of them are free under your insurance. Oh, my medical insurance? Yes. Wait a minute. So, wait a minute. Money is taken out of my paycheck to pay for medical insurance. So you're paying for the vaccine? Yes. Money. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Things are a puzzle, and I like putting the pieces together. You just got to look at it. Here's the thing. If you look at something long enough, you'll eventually get it. You'll eventually get it that you're living in a corporation. See, a lot of people would like to believe that we live in a democracy. Somebody on one of my platforms said, do you believe that this country, he saw that this is a corporation, that America is a corporation and not a country. He saw that video and he asked me, he said, do you believe that we will ever become a republic? I said, no. I said, we'll never become a republic. Some people think we live in a democratic nation. We don't. Read the Constitution. No Democrat. Some people like to believe that we live in a republic. Now, according to the Constitution, this is a republic, but we don't live in that either. We live in a controlled corporation that they dictate everything to us. And they say, just like a dictator, this is for your own good. We're not going to allow you to do this, even though we told you to wear a mask, even though we told you to go 6 feet apart. Now, granted, I understand if you tell me In order for you to travel, you need to take a test to see if you have COVID. Okay, cool. I'll take the COVID-19 test. But now they're saying, in order for you to travel, not now, it's not to infect guests. So don't get me wrong. You're gonna need the vaccine. Okay. So some of you say, okay, I want to travel. Okay, everybody's face didn't paralyze when they took the vaccine. So I might be okay. 2 companies came up with a vaccine, not the vaccine, a vaccine. So they have their own versions of the vaccine. They're like, hey, we did this and you did that. Okay, let's both make it. As far as I know, both vaccines attack COVID-19, but they're 2 different vaccines. So what vaccine are you getting? First question. Second question is, they're now saying, once you take the vaccine, still wear your mask. Wait a minute, but it's a vaccine. I should be immune because vaccines give you immunity over the virus. No, well, see, this is when people start, tap dancing. Well, you need to take the vaccine, okay, and you might need to take another dose of the vaccine. Wait a minute. Vaccines don't need boosters. Wait a minute. You want me to take 2 shots of a vaccine, wear a mask, and socially distance? Why should I take the vaccine? Well, stay with us here. We're trying to be as, that's how they start getting. Oh, sir, don't be defensive. Well, we need to understand there's 27 strains of COVID-19. Okay, so if it's 27 strains from the vaccine, then there's a new strain from the UK, and in those strains, there's different mutations. Then the one for Pfizer, is that the right vaccine? Is the one for Moderna, is that the right vaccine? I mean, which one am I getting? I'm not making this up. Look it up for yourself. There's over 27 strains of the vaccine. There's 2 companies in America that makes the vaccine. There are 27 strains of COVID-19. And then in those strains, there's different mutations. Then there's only 2 companies that make vaccines from the first original strand of COVID-19. So that means that I'm going to have to take 27 other vaccines. And what company are making these vaccines? Hey, I'm telling you, I'm just looking at the pieces of the puzzle and I'm putting them together the way I see it. I'm just saying. Now, I've been ignoring you guys for too long. I love to read some of you guys' comments. Some of you guys got a lot of great things to say. Let's see here. Learning every day, say, God damn. Oh, man. Cootie say, now the stock is going down. Do you think we should sell the stock or keep it? I don't know what stock he's talking about. Jamar says, real talk, man. No matter who I vote for, I always feel screwed in the end. And you will. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It don't matter who you vote for. And I'm going to give you guys with this lasting statement once I read some of my subscribers here messages. Lakeisha says, hey, fam, what's going on, Lakeisha? We got, Conscious Music Review by Mohammed Falah. That's right. West Africa is picking up. Don't sleep on them. True. Jermaine Anderson says IBM too. We got ICAM say cryptocurrency is the way of the future. The government knows that the dollar will decline greatly. The media is not talking about high food expenses and high living expenses due to the dollar. I do agree with digital currency, cryptocurrencies. I do agree with you, ICAM. Sheila said you are really helpful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Sheila. And Percy, thank you for the gift, my brother. I appreciate the donation. Percy says, get the bag and the briefcase. Appreciate the content. Well, thank you, sir. Talking about the stock market. Okay. Yeah. Let me go back to what he was saying. Give me 1 second, guys. No. Keep your stock, man. Don't sell your stocks. Don't sell your stocks. It goes in trends. I'm trends. On IG out west says I'm moving to Ghana. So here, let me leave you guys with this. Let me make sure I write it down before I forget. Voting and expat. All right. First things first. Since my brother on IG says he's moving to Ghana, this is what me and my family are doing. Okay. These are our plans. We are planning anywhere from 5 to 8 years of moving to an African country. We don't know if it's going to be forever, but we're going to give it a try. And some of the countries, just to kind of give you guys a large picture, some of the country we're moving to is that we're looking to move to is Ghana, is Senegal, is Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Botswana, Gambia, Namibia, and Rwanda. Those are some of the countries that we're looking to move to in the next 5 to 8 years. We want to give it about 6 months to a year to see, because this is my last point I'm making right here. Why would I ever move from the country I was born and raised and that my people actually built? Black people built the Capitol. Black people built the White House. Black people built the pyramids in Africa. Black people built all those Roman and all those Roman statues. Black people built the entire world, and that's what people don't understand. Just do your research, do your history. You will understand we built down there everything in this world, either by choice or by force. Don't matter. We still built it. With that being said, the reason why I no longer vote. The reason why I no longer vote is this. We as foundational Black Americans need to understand that when you vote, you give away your leverage, you give away your power, you give away your bargaining chip. The problem that you've seen with the Black Lives Matter organization, not movement, it's a difference. The people in the street were the movement. The organization is a different entity that is a cover for the LGBT community, and anyone who's Black need to understand before you're gay, you're Black. Doesn't matter your sexual preference. I digress with that. We need to understand when you vote and you don't ask for nothing, then you get nothing. That's what Asians, that's what Indians, that's what a lot of other groups understand. Before you give us our vote, before we give you the vote, what are you going to do for us? Kamala Harris said, I'm doing nothing for Black people. That's what she said. Joe Biden said, I'm doing nothing for Black people. Obama, our brother, Ace Boon Coon, said, I'm doing nothing for Black people. Obama, through the course of 8 years, was asked, are you in support of reparations for Adolf, American descendant of slaves? When given the chance with a national audience during the North Carolina debate back in 2008, they asked Obama that very question, and Obama said, I believe in reparations for the North Carolina school system. That is what you call a political or damn right deflection and disgrace and disrespect to every melanated person who originated in this land back from 1526. Back from 1526. So we need to understand this. When you vote and there's nothing on the table, you get nothing. You give away your leverage. See, here's the thing. They get other Black people, they get Black face in white place, and they pander to their own. They say, hey, Stacey Abrams, we're going to put you here as long as you can get a lot of Black people to support this. And she said, yes, boss, you're going to pay me this amount of money and I'm going to have this amount of power and influence. Yeah. Don't get too rowdy. We can take whatever we give you. She said, okay. So she panders all these politicians, Stacey Abrams, Jim Clyburn, even people and other people who are trying to get in, Roland Martin, they try to get into the political space and communication space, and they pander to black people, and they say Democrat, 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 Democrat. Donald Trump's a racist. Donald Trump's a racist. All the while, they don't remind you that Joe Biden mass incarcerated over 100,000 black people that highly targeted black communities. They don't say none of that. No, don't worry about that. He's different. He's different. He was 50 years in Congress and never did anything for black people. But now that he's running for president, he's different. So I should judge you by your future? I should judge you by your future and not your past? Wait a minute. My uncle went to jail and he served his time. And when he got out and applied for a job, they asked him was a convict. He didn't get the job. I wonder why. It's hard for him to get a job. I wonder if they judge him by his past. If I can't judge you by your past, then how can I judge you by your future? You didn't do nothing yet. But the only information I have is from what you did in the past. But let's wear some Chuck Taylors and let's say some inflammatory statements like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And black people line up and we twerking in line talking about we voted. What you vote for? We getting Donald Trump out the presidency. Okay, what you getting for your vote? I'm replacing one tyrant with another tyrant. See, the tyrant that we voted in, that bigot, that racist, he don't talk to us crazy, but he at least lock us up with respect. He locked up most of the X generation, most of the baby black generation in jail, and this is why there's no fathers in the home. Because half of the fathers who probably would have been anything are incarcerated. But we out there twerking, talking about we voted. We up there doing it. Let your body move. I'ma take you on a party ride. I'll teach you. I'll teach you the electric slide. Bunch of damn coons out there twerking and buck dancing for Zaddy. This is the problem. We're so overly entertained. They got us dancing. We're the only people. There's all of these other people in America, and I know black people were different. We love music, we love entertainment, but we don't got to do it every goddamn where. We twerking on chairs in restaurants in Dallas. We're twerking in line and doing the electric slide in Georgia and North Carolina. Come on, man. What are you twerking for? That's my song. Time for the percolator. I don't get it. What are you dancing for? What did you get for your vote? Well, we got Joe Biden and we voted in the first African-American female president. Okay. See, let me tell you something, people. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to get into if Kamala Harris is black or Indian, and even though her father is from Jamaica, the Caribbean, which a lot of coons come from. Not all people from Jamaica are coons, but a lot of them come from there. Her mother's from India. Let's just say she's black. For all argument purposes. Let's say she's black. Obama was black. Did your life change under Obama? Other than having a black face in a white place. Did your life change? No, it did not. There you have it. So, in closing, I advise all of you to really think in the next 4 years, because there's going to be a large group of us with a large following that are not going to vote unless we get tangibles. Unless there's black empowerment on the table. See, Sheila Jackson, is it Sheila Lee Jackson or Sheila Jackson Lee? She made a proposal in HR 40 for cash payments for reparations. I haven't read into it yet. I don't have that much information about it, but that's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about cash payments either. We're talking about Black empowerment across the board. We're talking about better funding for our school systems in our Black neighborhoods, better funding for our clinics and healthcare in Black neighborhoods and Black hospitals. I remember in Washington, D.C., where I'm originally from, going down to D.C. General Hospital, nobody really has insurance. There's literally people in the hallway still shot, not even being taken care of in a surgery room, trying to remove the bullet. We're treated like animals. We're treated less than human. So a lot of people like equality. No, I want justice. Take out the word equality. You already know you're equal or greater than. You're either equal or greater than your counterpart. So let's take out equality. I know, God damn it, I know that I'm equal or better. But we need justice. So we need resources inside of our communities when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to school systems. We need qualified immunity and qualified impunity to be wiped away. You commit a crime, regardless of your police officer or not, in the line of duty, outside the line of duty. If you kill a Black person, a Black child, whatever, and they don't have a weapon, and you shoot them in the back, you're going to jail for attempted murder, first degree. Let's keep it real. Take away that Blue Cross Blue Shield law. People talking about defund the police. Those are just slogan terms that they get a bunch of Black people on. Defund the police. Defund the police. No. Don't defund them. Don't increase them. Don't matter. Don't get hooked on all of these terms. This is just symbolism in your face. Take away symbolism. Oh, we knocked down those Confederate statues. Does racism still exist? Well, yeah. Okay, then what? Well, those racist images are gone. Okay, well, I guess you get the racist images on your job. Wipe away qualified immunity and give Black people justice when it comes to interactions that are legally no weapons involved of Black people getting killed. Cash payments to us. Last time I checked, our ancestors who were the enslaved Africans accumulated this country $16 trillion in wealth. If you equal that up to 40 million foundational Black Americans, we should all be receiving around $335,000 as not including interest. That's not including interest. But will we ever receive per person $335,000? Hell no, but I'll settle for $50,000. I'll settle. I'll settle out of court for $50,000, you know. Why do Black Americans want reparations so bad? Because we're destitute, we're poor, we're broke. Why are you that? You're not spending your money right. You're spending your money on my favorites. Yeezys and Balenciagos and Gucci's, Infinities and Pradas and cars you can't afford. Is that the only reason? No. What's the other reason? Oh, every time Black people pull themselves up by their bootstraps, the white supremacy in this country has dismantled Black progression. The white supremacists in this country has stopped, destroyed Black progression by destroying all the Black Wall Streets in America. See, some people just like, oh, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. That was one city. There was other Black Wall Street. There was one in Raleigh-Durham. There was one in Richmond, Virginia. There was many Black Wall Streets. They destroyed all of that back in 1919, which called the Red Summer. They did Tulsa, Oklahoma 2 years later in 1921. When Black neighborhoods were doing really well before the 60s, what occurred. The Highway Act, where they start building highways through black neighborhoods. Black neighborhoods were like the suburbs. We lived good for a moment. White people used to ride around the neighborhoods like, how are these blacks doing so well? They started building highways, which brought noise, traffic, and crime through our cities, through our towns. They marginalized us. They redlined us. They said, put all the black people, this is redlining, put all the black people here, build a highway, build some buildings and some business districts, and put all the white people over here and make sure they can't afford it. Let's marginalize and disfranchise them so they don't get any jobs that they can actually make any money to live in the white neighborhoods. So next time you vote, or next time you think about voting, this is why people who are part of the B1 brigade, we will never vote until there's tangibles on the table. And by me explaining that small piece, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. So if you ever ask, is politics directly in correlation with the stock market? The answer will always be 100%. Percy, again, my brother, I thank you for your second donation. I thank you for that. Percy says here, about 6 years ago, there were many corporations that sent an apology because their success came from slave labor, Wells Fargo, etc. You are right, my brother. Just like the Lords of London responded to T.I. and said, we're rich because of the backs of blacks. And for some reason, when I talk to people who are 50 and older, they're like, oh, I voted because of this. I voted because of that. I voted because of he's a racist. And they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. And I would encourage everybody, before you go out there and stand 8 hours, to understand what you're voting for, and will that help you and your people. The problem is the Asians are united, the Indians are united, the Arabics are united, white people are united. Black people, because of what they put us through, we somehow have come divided. And most of that, believe it or not, has become from a lot of coonery, a lot of Sambos out there, a lot of black bootlicks out there have separated us for their power and their gain and their bottom line and their pockets. But we should see through all this fake stuff, and we should unify and not vote until they give us what we want. Somebody like, well, they're the president of all the American people. You're right. But I want you guys to go do this before I get off. I want you to go search when Obama and Biden gave Jews $12 million of money. Gave Jews 12. He gave one specific group money for the reason of them living a better life in America. These were Holocaust survivors. These are Holocaust survivors that Obama and Biden gave millions of dollars to in order for them to live a great life in America. Go look it up. Just type in Obama give Jews 12 million. And you're going to read multiple stories of them giving earmark money to the Holocaust survivors that fled to America, millions of dollars in order for them to have respect and dignity and live out the rest of their lives in well fashion. Look that up. Then you tell me if we still deserve reparations, because believe it or not, we are the survivors of slavery. And not only did we go through atrocities, and we still go through atrocities and torture from our own country, our ancestors built this country and never got paid. And we are the sons and daughters, and we are entitled. We are owed payment. You guys have a great day. Be one. I'm out.